Now that you're in midlife, how are you finding new friends?
We're girlfriends of a certain age. In midlife, we got a lot to say. So let's get loud. We won't fade away. 'Cause we're girlfriends of a certain age.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, girlfriend.
Ooh, friends in midlife. It's changing. It's a changing terrain right now.
It really is. And I'm also excited about it. I'm glad to be getting more clear about what I am, who I am, and what I want and who I want in my life. If we haven't met before, I'm Fleshay.
I'm Jessica Neighbor, and we are girlfriends of a certain age. We're going to talk about how to make new friends, how to keep the old ones, and what it feels like at this point in our lives. So I will just say that I cherish my friendships. I also, for my journey, have figured out that it's more important to me to have fewer really deep connections than lots and lots of like little small social ones. Maybe it's because I'm just less of a social butterfly these days, but I want to invest and reinvest in those friendships because I feel like they take some effort at this age. At the same time, it is fun to meet new people. And, with us now, like having kids who are older, who are doing their own things, being kind of in a groove in life, we may not have as many opportunities. So I do like to meet new people. I'm always curious about that, but I don't always know how to go about it. So that's what we're going to explore. What's your MO? What do you think?
So it's very similar. I used to be much more interested in having loads and loads of friends. And part of it too was like always having someone I could call or go out with or do something with or get help from or I could help them. And so I think being now, I'm 51, y'all. I love saying that in almost every episode because there was never a time in my life where I thought that was cool. I used to think it was somehow shameful to acknowledge or have someone find out your age.
Oh, right.
Right?
Right.
Once you get older, you don't want that. And I'm
It's
like,
rude. It's rude, apparently, to ask people their age.
yeah. So I remove all that by just sharing it widely. So it is so different now. And also, I've got my shirt on, recovering good girl. I'm not people pleasing anymore. So when I look at the majority of my life, when I was in people pleasing mode, the people I attracted were more than happy to like almost like a vampire, energy vampire, hook on and have a big drink whenever they wanted. And oftentimes I was like, is this here, this one's better, this side, this here, let me get everything out of your way so you can have what you want from me. I was serving myself up. And as an empath, as someone who feels people's feelings and now is fully acknowledging my and owning my psychic skills and abilities, I see what a sticky, manipulative situation it was for all of us, right? So, like, if
Right.
I can feel that you're needy and you feel less than, and I know it's not that much more effort for me to point out that you're really a good person, you're really worth it. Oh, I love you, and kind of giving away my energy to them. It's like going to the ATM, pulling out money and just giving it to a bunch of people.
Right.
Right. So for me, I now think of my energy as currency,
Yes.
and it's my currency to give to myself and to the people that I choose, and vice versa. Everybody needs to be looking at their lives this way, right?
Definitely. And our time is more precious, right?
Yes.
In midlife, we are kind of looking ahead. We can kind of, see the end of the road possibly. I don't have time for shenanigans or for people who just leave me, not feeling good. And it's so great to ask yourself the question after you spend time with somebody, do I feel full or do I feel drained? Do I feel energized? Like they gave me something, or do I feel like I was sucked dry, as you're talking about with the vampire thing that we, had our part in too, as recovering good
Absolutely.
girls, right? That codependent dance that we do. But it's so vital, and I am getting much more attuned to when I feel full and when I feel drained.
Yes. Yes, it's like our bodies are talking to us, and it turns out they have been all along, you know, but we can now listen. We can listen in a whole new way to our body. And so a thing that I'm practicing a lot lately is really living from the heart. And like asking myself, especially when I'm getting angry or frustrated, I'm like, I run it through my heart. Is this really how I feel? Like this person is frustrating me. What's really going on there? And oh my goodness, it is so helpful to me for calibrating me and my thoughts and my behaviors and my actions and my responses.
Yeah.
Do I invest or do I not invest? Or do I not investing means not like plug into the other person and like do something with them, but I reinvest in myself. Oh, there's something going on for them. I don't think that's really about me. Also, you and I have done plenty of therapy. And so I think too, like if you haven't had an opportunity to work with a therapist or a coach, that maybe now at this stage of life, it is so important to have that self-awareness. Because if you do what you've always done, you're going to get the same results you always got.
Yeah.
I do not attract narcissistic people in my life anymore. I do not give of myself to that personality type anymore. There are plenty of people with those personality traits in my life, and plenty of people who probably think I'm that in their lives. And that's okay, because that is sign for you. Stay away from Flachet. It's a sign for me to stay away from you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We don't have to resent the hell out of each other because we're not a match anymore. The chemistry's not there.
Right.
It's very off and on. It either works or it doesn't.
Yes. And that's so true. We don't have to force the energy. And I think too, sometimes with old friends, you know, it's very easy to grow apart, and that can be sad. And sometimes we have to mourn a friendship, but sometimes we also have to let a friendship go. Or very often friendships kind of like live a lifespan at a certain phase of your life, right? And then they drift, and that's okay, because if the bond wasn't strong enough, that's no reflection on you. And I think there was a while where I did feel like it was a reflection on me, which had to do with that people pleaser. I want everyone to like me. So if you're suddenly drifting away from me, did I do something wrong?
Yes.
Right? And I'm so aware now that, oh, you know, even if it wasn't anything, you know, that was super negative with this person, we just didn't have that strong enough bond that weathered a change or a shift or a graduation from one step to another. Now, I will bring up a point, which is in our, you know, kind of fast-paced life, how do we, you know, cherish those friendships that we do want to keep a hold of, or how do we even invest in kind of new ones? And I think you really need to make time, kind of like you do with your significant other. Make a girlfriend date night. Have some built-in things that you do. You know, you've heard it before. I'll say it again. I'm sorry if you're totally sick of me saying this, but hiking with girlfriends is just like divine. It's so fun. We're up there in the redwoods, just saying whatever the hell we feel like. And it's so lovely. But I do make a point, and I notice my friends who hike with me make a point. We keep that regular. We keep that regular, right? We got to keep showing up for one another in that way. And also, it's a really great reminder that on days when I'm tired or on days when I'm cranky, I still show up. You know, on days where they had hot flashes all night, they still show up, and we can bitch about it together. So it's not like you always, people please or recover, have to show up as your perfect self. Show up as you are.
Yeah.
But keep showing up.
Keep showing up. Yes, I think it's so important. And there's so much research that as we get older, that the quality of our relationships is what will lead to us being, you know, happier in our lives, feeling fulfilled, feeling satisfied. And, you know, I think you bring up so many good points, you know, allowing relationships to take their natural course and not taking it personally and letting go of those resentments. Like if somebody wasn't something that you needed, then it's on you to go find the thing that you need. And I think too, to remember, you know, we've talked about this before with Mel Robbins, the let them theory. Let people do what they're gonna do. If they're gonna ghost you, let them. If they are gonna yell at you, well, I wouldn't let them. I'm gonna be like, okay, you're gonna do you. I'm not gonna stick around here for that because I don't deal with that. I don't tolerate that in my life. And I think that is something, it's just been so beautiful to see that line in the sand for me. I now know what it is. Before I would know that the line in the sand had been crossed and I just had no actual boundaries to say anything, to push back or punch back or run away or do whatever needed to be done. I didn't always have those strategies, but I would watch myself getting trampled on.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's something that I saw as being harsh in older ladies. It was a judgment that I had about older ladies being very like, I like that. I don't like that. And I was like, oh, scary. But now that I'm stepping, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
ain't nobody got time for bullshit.
That's right.
Right? I'm clear that my life has bookends, right? Like I'm at the midpoint if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky, I've got 50 more years. I don't know how much time I've got left.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend it being happier
Yes.
than I was before.
You're touching on something so important too about older women kind of being perceived as either judgy or harsh. No, they know themselves. Let's reframe that.
Yeah.
We know ourselves and we know when the chemistry is on or when the chemistry is off. And then as recovering good girls, it is really great for us to check in and go, I don't have to make this an effortful relationship.
Right.
This should flow. This should feel good. And so I love you bringing that up because I also think I've internalized a lot of that. And, but it's kind of great. It's great to say what you like and dislike because then also people start to know the real you.
Thank you. Yes, I feel like that is what you and I have been talking around. I feel like you just hit this like nut. You broke the shell and we got to the good meaty part inside. Yes, that's it.
Right. Because then we get where you're coming from and then we can vibe with that, right?
Or not.
Or not. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, I think that's really powerful and really important. And, something I've noticed is that women our age, in my experience, the ones who are reaching out to other people, even strangers, are very open to friendship. So I don't know if you've even scratched the surface of this, just like even a little bit, scratch the surface, looking for women, put in your age range, hiking, sewing, cooking, talking, stitch and bitch, like whatever the thing is, whatever you're into, whatever is lighting you up right now, there are other women using the internet to find each other. So we're in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and I am a member of 3 meetup groups.
Wonderful.
Of women hiking, getting together, running their businesses together at this stage of life. There is so much, but you have to go look for it.
You have to.
Yeah. And so I highly recommend it because we are at this stage of life and everyone is understanding. It's time to get serious. If your business is not where you need it to be, this is the time to be getting it locked in. If you're lonely, if you need to get out and walk, your blood sugar is just off the charts and you need to get exercise and you need some buddies, they are there.
I love that. Absolutely. And also taking classes, do something you love. I'm a huge improv person. I love it. I've met some really fun people and of different ages. So I have some young people who I'm really connecting with. I went on a lovely hike with a woman who had her first baby, and it was really, really fun to kind of be in a different phase of my life, but have her be sharing that. And she's also teaching me a couple of fun things. So I think that's so important. I also just know that I have to be me, and I am an intense bonder, and I know you are as well. I'm not someone who likes to sit around and just small talk all day. And there are genuinely people who like that.
Yes.
That is how they want to relate. That is their jam. It is not my jam, and I want to seek out the people who really want to go there. And not everyone is going to want to go there, And so I'm just testing the waters with people in a way that I think is really fun, to just feel like, do they want to go there? Are they open to that? Are we on the same thing? Rather than feeling like my way of doing it is wrong or trying to fit into their mode of operation, I'm going to find those people that really want to get there, with me. And sometimes those people are far and few between, right? Which is why I cherish you and my dear friends like you, because a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are conflicted. A lot of people have all kinds of issues for not going there. But again, that is what I'm attracted to. That is what feeds me. And I'm just being real about it.
Yeah. And I think it sounds like you have done a version of this, but like for me, I have figured out little ways to find that out really early.
Tell us. What are a few of your...
Yeah, I've got a good narcissism test. If you want to know where someone's on that scale, and of course we all have narcissism in us, right? So I'm not saying, it is a personality style, and some people love a person who's just so full of themselves and think nothing else exists but them. Some people find that charming.
Yeah.
Right? I just don't. So one good way you can test that is just to say no. Oh, I want to go have lunch at the new salad place. Oh, I don't want to go there. I'd like to go someplace else. Let's go to the new taqueria. You challenge a difficult person like that, a narcissist, they will generally lose their mind. They'll start trying to manipulate you. They'll ask it in 17 different ways. So that is like one of my early tests. And I actually just found there's someone new that I've met and I did my test. She failed. I was like, good to know.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't have to hate you for it.
Right.
But I'm going to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I know because I study narcissism and narcissistic abuse, of which I am in full recovery of.
Yeah.
I now know what to do and how to handle myself. And then with people who, I, like you, I just am not great at small talk. I can do it for maybe 2 minutes. And then what people tell me is that I make them cry because I'll just say something or I'll just, something channeled will come through and I just speak some mad truth at them and they just are like sobbing. And so like, I realize that about myself. So I'll just ask like, oh gosh, I'm feeling really hot today. Any other girlfriends heating up today? Like, where are you guys? Anyone having hot flashes? I say the thing.
Yeah.
And then the ones that turn bright red and recoil from me, I'm like, oh, okay. No, maybe there's my girl. And then she and I will go and talk. I have made so many new connections. I don't want to call them friendships yet because it's early.
Right.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Is not calling someone a friend too soon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which, as recovering people pleasers, we tend to want to, be friends and be friendly with everyone, but being friendly does not make them your friend.
Thank you. Yes, I did not learn that until my late 40s. And I think too, like Facebook, like, oh, I friended her, or I friended them. It's like it changed what the word meant in the culture.
Yeah.
It meant like vanity metrics.
Yeah.
It meant something about you. Oh, I've got 7,000 people following me on Facebook. I'm somebody. It means I have 7,000 friends.
Oh, I know.
Like,
Who has 7,000 friends?
I think on some level we feel that, and it brings up some kind of false pride, or something that's just kind of empty, right? But so a friend, and so I talk with my kids a lot about this too, because I remember I was guilty of this with my kids. We'd see a kid at the park, and we wouldn't know the kid's name. Maybe the kid couldn't even talk, and I would just say, "Hi, friend."
Oh, calling
and
him
I
a friend.
would have my kid, and I would start using the F word, too soon. And so then even my little kids were like, that's a friend. That's a friend. And I was like, oh, that person is not your friend. Do you remember what they did to you last week? Friends don't mistreat each other. So I think there's something about that too. And then I've brought my kids along on that journey. And I admitted it. I was telling you that everybody was your friend. And I have to own up to that and apologize to you children for that, because that's not what I meant to do. So we're going to recalibrate. And now my kids get it.
Yeah.
And you hear them. I just met so-and-so. They might be on the friend track. And I'm like, oh, okay. It got through. They're understanding it. So I really hope that so many of the wounds and the things that I'm learning in my own life, I can pass on gently to my children so they don't have to learn that the hard way too. It's painful to go find yourself too far down the path with a friend. And how do you get out of it? How do you set things straight?
Right. And they're practicing, right? They are practicing. So they're going to have, some of the heartaches and the heartbreaks, and there can be some really rough stuff that happens with developing people. And yet it's an interesting time in midlife where I feel like as women, we're really shifting. My hormones shifted. I have like a really different point of view since menopause. So we refer to it as a second puberty or a second spring. So in a funny way, we're also in a real mind shift era, which I think makes us both open to meeting new people and trying on different new relationships, but can also create a little bit of like a landmine field about like how you navigate this with your kind of new point of view. So just reminding ourselves that we know our bodies know what we're doing. We're just becoming more of ourselves, and whatever sort of artifice that we maybe felt like we had to hold on to in our younger adulthood, hopefully we can shed that away and let go of that, right? And really find those authentic people. And those people who don't want to shed their artifice and who don't want to get real can absolutely hang out with their, costumes on together. That is fine. You do you. Or for whatever reason, that chemistry just doesn't click. And I just think that is such a gift that I have given to myself, which is I am not forcing this. I am not forcing anything. I'm gonna vibe it. And your tip about taking it slow is so smart, because new friendships, especially for people who want to go deep, are really like another relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And we should have a courtship, right? We should have a trial time, and know that we're testing the waters, but we can pull back at any point. So don't feel obligated. Don't feel obligated. Mm-hmm.
It's so true. It's true. So girlfriend, how is this landing for you so far? Let us know in the comments about your journey of friendships, what works, what doesn't work, because we're all learning from each other. And that's why we have our Substack community. So come find us over there and join us and join the conversation, because this is a very rich time in our lives. We're learning more about ourselves. We're learning more about each other. We're learning about what we want and why. I love what you said about us becoming more and more ourselves, our truest selves. I think that is the biggest gift we can give ourselves and each other. Yeah. Because when we're using our energy properly, everybody wins. Everybody feels healed. Everybody feels nourished. When we're using our energy badly, everybody loses. Everyone feels depleted. Everyone is hurt and angry and resentful. So notice what track you find yourself in and around what people.
I also think that in practicing this, we could actually do a lot of help in our world, because we need a coalition, y'all. It's not working with us all in our little camps, like holding on to our really strong identities. We need to somehow find some commonality. So I feel like the more honest and open and real we can be, I think the more opportunity we're going to have to attract people that are being authentic. And it doesn't necessarily mean the same.
Right. Oh, I just
Ding,
got
ding.
chills.
Right. Right. Because then that is actually how we can make real lasting change. And we need to on so many levels. So I think that this kind of daily practice, if we can remind ourselves, isn't only going to do ourselves good, but it's going to do each other some real good.
I just had this beautiful vision. Our country, we live in America, is so divided. And we're seeing this all around the world.
We are.
What if it was women? What if it was women in midlife and beyond who were the ones held back together? What if that healing was going to happen through the women? What if we're the ones?
I love it.
What if we're the ones we've been waiting for, right? This idea of, I don't agree with you, and yet I can still hold space with you.
That's right.
Or be loving toward you.
Let's do it. Let's do it, ladies. I'm fired up. Let's do it.
I'm fired up. Let's do it. Girlfriend, thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of this conversation. Leave us a comment, share this episode with somebody who needs to hear this message. I really want to reach more women and have all of us just talking about the things. How can we improve our friendships? How can we improve even our friendships with ourselves? We didn't even talk about that as much, but all of it. How can we connect all of it together?
100%. And a little plug, if you are listening on a podcast stream, please do give us a rating if you love it. It really helps us reach more like-minded ladies. please like yourself. So take that moment to do that. We will love you eternally, and we'll get the message out to more people who need to hear this. So until next time, girlfriends, bye.